This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Rock and Roll English, which is a podcast. I think you know Rock and Roll English is a podcast, but a podcast I recorded last week with Boom Boom Cannon about the World Cup. Now, we do go into detail here, so if you are not a football fan, this podcast is not for you. I know it's probably not a good idea to tell people not to listen to my podcast, but that's what I'm doing. I just want you to be fully aware that if you are not a football fan, you probably won't enjoy this. But if you want to, why not? Okay? It's your decision, but just be warned, we do go into detail. We talk about players' names, and also I want to add, if you are someone that does really like football, for example, Boom Boom and I do not claim to be experts, okay? We know about football, but this is not our job, so we haven't really researched things. We just went from complete memory, zero preparation, and started talking. This was also, as I mentioned, recorded last week before the Cristiano Ronaldo interview, so we didn't talk about that, unfortunately. And one last thing I want to mention is that if you listen to the podcast, both Boom Boom and I both say how we think England will not win this World Cup. Okay, so if anyone thinks, like I heard last year, English people are so arrogant they think they're going to win, this is the proof that that is not the case. Okay, of course, we hope, we dream. That's what football is all about. I remember Greece won the European Championships in 2004. Nobody expected that, but that's the beauty of football. It gives you the possibility to hope and dream. Sure, it probably won't happen, but there is always that chance. If I think with my head, I think, of course, England will not win the World Cup. But as I said, I can always dream. Anyway, here is the episode. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
I'm very well, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, especially now we are doing one of our almost traditional tournament podcasts, no, for a big football tournament. Okay, I'm sure everyone really looks forward to this. It's the highlight for them of the World Cup. I'm still not sure how many people listen. I think it was 10, but I think
I got the sense when I met the rock and rollers that quite a few of them bypassed the football podcasts.
Yeah, I think we might be on to 5 listeners now. Okay, but here we are anyway. Boom Boom. So another World Cup, which is a bit strange because we're recording this after talking about the World Cup in last week's podcast, but never mind. So this is the detailed one for football fans, okay?
Yes.
Now, I have got the list of teams playing here. Obviously, we're English, so we're going to talk mostly about England. So first of all, do you think England can do it, Boom Boom?
Can bring it home?
Bring it home.
I actually don't. No.
I don't even think in the slightest. Although, you know, we've had semi-final now, then final. You think the next, like the progression, but I think the team now has had its day, and we can just forget about it.
I think like the previous performances means maybe there's a kind of greater. Like there's less nerves going into it, I think, for the team, and maybe they'll do okay. I don't think it will be like
I'm not even sure. So
but
in our group, so we've got Iran.
Oh, I'm not worried about the group.
Well, I am a bit. So luckily we're playing Iran first. I mean,
okay.
No offense to people from Iran, but England should be looking to win that quite comfortably. I hope anyway. But saying that, I remember 2006 playing Trinidad and Tobago. We had the dream team: Gerrard, Lampard, Rooney, Owen, Ferdinand, Terry, and I think we scored in like the 86th minute or something like that. So
my main memory from that game, I think it was Crouchy who pulled someone's hair to like gain an advantage, pulled a dreadlock to get ahead of someone.
Yeah, I noticed how you call him Crouchy, like you're friends with him. Are you?
Well, I've listened to him on enough podcasts that I feel like I'm mates with him. So
Crouchy. That's such an English thing to do, isn't it? Like all footballers have names that finish with a Y, don't they? They all do. Like Scholesy, Butty, Giggsy. They literally all do. So yeah, Crouchy. So yeah, we should hopefully beat Iran, but then I think the next match is America, the USA. Is that right?
Okay, yeah, I don't have the order in front of me, but yeah, it'll be USA or Wales.
One of those. And well, the last time we played USA, I remember 2010 in a World Cup, finished 1-1. I could easily see, and I mean, it sounds probably a bit arrogant, but more so for Wales, I think, for them to play us, it's like their cup final. Let's be clear. It's like they hate the English. If we play Scotland or any team like in Britain, I would say plus Republic of Ireland, when they play, I know it sounds a bit arrogant to say, but I think it's a bigger game for them than it is for us.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I think so. I think as like the dominant sort of country of the British Isles, like naturally there's a stronger feeling of them against us than us against them, because we've kind of dominated that. But yeah, so I definitely think that's true. And so the Wales game will probably, I think, be reduced to more of a bit of a battle. But I don't know. You look at their team. I mean, we should be swatting them aside.
In 2016, we played them. We did end up winning the match, I believe, 2-1. Scored in the very last minute. And so with the way things are going, I mean, again, I expect us to, but it wouldn't surprise me if we finish second in that group.
The thing with the group that I think might work in our favour also is that the other teams are also quite kind of even between them. I'm not sure they'll be, like, even if England drops in points, I'm not sure any of the other three will be kind of winning 3 games or taking 7 points from 3. But USA do have some good players.
Yeah. And again, just obviously supporting England, having seen so much shit over the years. I know it's been good for the last 2 tournaments, but let's not forget about the 56 years before that. And so, yeah, I remember 2014, for example. We did have a much more difficult group, but we lost.
Hodgson.
Yeah, so we lost to Italy, then we lost to Uruguay. So 2010, I think. So we had like Algeria, USA, and somebody else, and we finished second in that group. Which we ended up playing Germany. And speaking of, like, when I mentioned how when we play Wales or something, it's a bigger game for them. I always think that when we play a team like Germany, like for us, it's like, against Germany, the old rival. But I don't get that impression from them. I think they're just kind of like, it's that shit.
Well, no, I've read
those shit English.
Yeah, I've read
players
that
again.
That is the Netherlands are their kind of bigger rival. So it is a bit, when I heard that, because I thought, you think, it's England, Germany, we're such big rivals, and then no, the Netherlands, that's who we care about. Like, that's who we dislike. England, we beat them. That's easy.
Yeah, it's like England, they're absolutely rubbish. So that's not a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if we finished second. I mean, if we didn't qualify, I mean, that would be an absolute disaster. But again, I would never rule out anything as an England supporter.
Yeah, it's too baked in, I guess, the feeling of we can mess this up.
Yeah,
it's happened too many times.
Yeah,
but I think we'll get through. I think we'll get through the group, but that we're a bit lacking, particularly I think at the back to go too far, to go all the way.
It's strange, isn't it? So obviously Harry Maguire has been picked, who hasn't played really at all for Manchester United, and when he's played for England in the last game, I didn't actually see it, but I know he had a bit of a stinker.
Yeah.
So you kind of think, well, what are you picking him for then? If he's not playing, and when he has played, but I think there's just so much pressure around. I do feel sorry for him. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is, but it's just become such a thing now of like social media and stuff. He's become almost such a joke.
Exactly. I think
and there's
that's
so much pressure when he plays
him,
now. Yeah. So I know it would have been tough, but I don't think he should have been picked at all.
Southgate trusts him, but
yeah,
his form just hasn't been good. And then I guess John Stones plays, but then one of the other options that sends back is Eric Dyer. And I mean, if we end up going in against any half-decent team with Maguire and Dyer as centre-backs, that is bad news.
I actually watched the Tottenham game last weekend at my aunt's house with my cousin, who's a Tottenham fan, and he was moaning about Eric Dyer. And I just said, whatever he does, he will always have a special place in my heart for the last World Cup when he scored that penalty against Colombia. That was literally one of the best moments of my life. Like I can't think of many moments just like that rush of emotion of being so happy. It was just such a great feeling. I mean, it wasn't a great penalty, but he scored, and that was all that mattered.
Stuck it away. I actually forgot that was him. I think since then you've done well to hold on to that, because that was quite a while ago now. Whereas I've very much, he's just shifted back into being a crap defender who plays for Spurs, who I don't really like. So I'm glad you've reminded me. Use that penalty.
See, I'm loyal, Boom Boom. Okay, so he will always have a special place in my heart for that one thing that he did. But yeah, it's strange though that all of the players, the English players based in Italy, have all been ignored. So Abraham, Tomori, and Smalling, who has been doing well, but just it's like in England, if you play in another country, it's like you don't exist anymore, really, isn't it? Like it's just this. It's like, oh, he plays abroad. Like, oh, just forget about him. Like, it's a strange thing.
Think we focus so much on the Premier League. I guess who we got? We got Jude Bellingham.
Good point.
Is that it from abroad? I think it might be like Sancho. I guess he's not obviously in there now, but previously has been in the squad when he was playing abroad. But yeah, otherwise they've been ignored. And I think I haven't watched much Serie A, if I'm honest, but from what I've read, they've all been playing well. But particularly, I mean, Tomori last year was part of the Milan Serie A winning team, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Which again, I haven't watched him that closely, but I would imagine if he's starting for AC Milan and winning Serie A, that should kind of maybe ahead of Eric Dyer in the England team, or Maguire, who's now obviously basically been dropped by United. But
I actually think he is going to start with Maguire as well.
Same.
So just to quickly have a look at some other teams, slightly England dominated this. So you spoke about the Netherlands, actually. I don't think they've been in a World Cup for a while, have they? Certainly feels like when we were young, they were always one of like the big teams, you know, with like Bergkamp, Overmars, the De Boer twins, Davids, Seedorf. They had absolutely, especially in '98. I remember I just absolutely loved the Dutch.
Same.
Stam.
Yeah, well, not because of Jaap Stam or Dennis Bergkamp, but yeah, I think they've often been like my kind of second favourite team almost to win.
Good supporters as well, wearing orange. They're just a good team to have around. I mean, I must admit these days I don't really know many of their players at all. Obviously,
well, I know that Louis van Gaal is back in charge.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
How many times has he been manager?
I don't know. It feels like with the Dutch, they just have this kind of revolving door of certain managers like Gus Hiddink and Louis van Gaal, Koeman, Dick Advocaat, people like that. There's same old names that just crop up. But yeah, Van Gaal is back in charge, and Van Dijk. I used to be able to wheel off all of the Dutch team pretty easily, but De Jong, I guess, De Jong and De Ligt.
Of course,
yeah.
But the favourites, I believe, are Argentina, which
for the whole.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure officially with the bookmakers, but I did see something that apparently a FIFA simulation has said that they will win FIFA the football game, and apparently FIFA this simulation has got the last 3 winners right, and they are on like some 35 match unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
But I always think that it's very rare that team normally wins. Like you often see a team that's maybe not doing so well and actually find form in the tournament, and that's basically, I think, our only hope.
Well, I remember in terms of sort of predicting the winner, there was which tournament was it where they were using an octopus to sort of the octopus would sort of pick
right.
Like
so serious stuff then.
Yeah. So maybe FIFA is a bit more accurate than the octopus, but the octopus had a bloody good record actually. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Argentina, Lionel Messi, he's pretty good. So,
yeah, I've heard he's quite good. Yeah.
So they should.
I actually heard. I don't know if this is true, that some Argentinian players have like asked not to play for their club teams, or actually because they're worried about getting injured, which that's cool, but also understandable. But at the same time, if the club are paying you like hundreds of thousands every week to play, and you say I can't, that's not so
I
good.
think the main example of that, Raul Jimenez plays for Wolves in Mexico. He's basically been like injured in terms of playing for Wolves now for quite a while, but is essentially just training with the national team now, ready for the World Cup. He's just kind of said, I'm not really up for it, Wolves. Sorry. Got a World Cup coming up. So
I'm never really sure if international players get paid, and if they do, how much. Because like that, let's say, if you have a company and you're paying someone 100,000 a week and they're not working, I would be look, what's going on?
The whole thing, really. I mean, in some ways, I think the actual concept of international football, like, I'm surprised. I guess there'd be such an uproar if clubs tried to sort of prevent players playing.
Yeah,
but when you think actually about how much they pay the players to play for them, and then they're just allowed to go and play for someone else.
Yeah, and they might get injured and they can't play, and you have to keep paying them.
Yeah, exactly. Then in a way you think that might get kind of challenged at some point, but
so that's Group A and Group B covered. Actually Group C as well, because we've spoken about Argentina. We're just talking about let's say the important teams, which probably doesn't sound politically correct or anything, but okay. So Group D, we've got France, who I've heard they're quite good.
They're good. They're a good team. Yeah. William Saliba is the new kid downtown for them. Yeah.
Really? So
he's in the French squad. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow.
He's got a good chant. I know you're a fan of chants.
Oh, really? I am a big fan. Tell me.
Well, it's going to be quite. It's the one to the tune of Tequila.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it because it goes on for ages and.
That is an anticlimax if I've ever heard one. I've got a great chant for you. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing it. But I suppose I can imagine it anyway from what you've told me. Pogba's not playing.
No, he's injured,
I would say he is one of the footballers that I hate the most in the world. Him and like Neymar are like, just for me, just epitomise modern day footballers.
Is it also because he left United for free, then United signed him for 80 odd million, and then he went back to Juventus for free, which is quite annoying.
That is just there's never been an example of a club pulling another club's pants down so much in the history of football, has there?
No, that was a bad one.
And the thing that really bugged me though was like he kind of knew he was leaving. His last game for United was Liverpool away last year, and obviously going through a really bad time, and it was like 10 minutes gone away at Liverpool, 2-0 down, and then what happens next? Old Pogba's legs, his muscles gone, and he's walking off the pitch, and you just think, like, that just sums him up. It was just like, oh, you know what? I don't fancy this.
Yeah.
Like, let's.
Yeah, I've had enough
got a
of
pain
this.
in my leg.
Yeah.
That's probably enough.
Yeah.
And also in that group is Tunisia, who, strange enough, I thought I would share this story. In France '98, actually, at school.
I knew as soon as you said Tunisia, I thought, I know where this is going.
Well, actually, no, it's not what you
Okay.
think, because you're maybe thinking of when we watched the Tunisia match at school, which, no, we...
Paul Scholes scored, didn't he?
Yeah, and Shearer, whatever. But we did in my form class like a draw, and you had to like pick a team of who was going to win.
Okay.
And I got Tunisia, and I remember thinking, "Come on, Tunisia!"
Presumably they did go out of the group stage.
Yeah. So not so good. But okay, in the next group we've got Spain and Germany, who I've just noticed for the first time are in the same group.
Tasty.
Also Costa Rica, who since that 2014 World Cup, where they finished top of the group when there was a group with Uruguay, Italy, England and Costa Rica.
Well remembered.
That's what I mean about international football. There's always, as well, I find, one team who you don't expect that turn out to be really... Like 2002 Senegal, for example.
I was actually going to say that this year might be Senegal, but you've sort of got there first. For this time. Would they count as an unfancied team, do you think, to go far?
They
won the African Cup of
20 years ago.
Like recently, so now they are a good team again.
Not then.
Okay.
Surely not.
Okay.
Surely not then. But so there is always one team that sort of surprises you. But yeah, Spain and Germany in the same group. That looks like it's certainly going to be tough for Japan. I think that are also in that group.
That's Costa Rica and Japan with Spain and Germany.
Yeah,
I mean that's Costa Rica.
That's group.
They've had a mare there. Costa Rica.
Well, I would say
Japan as well, but yeah.
I mean, anyone in a group with Spain and Germany, you're in for trouble, basically, aren't you? I mean, again, I don't even know that much about Spain or Germany. I just literally read 5 minutes before that Sergio Ramos hasn't been called up, so that's one less knobhead at the World Cup. And again, Eric Dyer, have you ever seen that tackle? I think it was a friendly against Spain where he just absolutely crunched Ramos.
No, I don't think so. I probably did at the time.
That is one of the best tackles ever, because it was so unnecessary, but like it was such a great way of crunching someone. So for people that don't know, it's just like a really heavy tackle, but fair, like won the ball, but really crunched him, and it was just brilliant to see. Because it was like no danger or anything. It was like literally like right inside his half and just crunched him. Just Reducer.
Let him know he was there.
And it was just brilliant to see. So, okay, so on to Group F. We've got here Belgium and Croatia in the same group. Belgium, obviously, they speak about this golden generation. I don't know why, I just don't like Belgium.
Yeah.
I apologise to any people from Belgium. But when I say I don't like them, I'm talking about the football team as well.
You mean the people and their culture?
I just hate their beer and their chocolate. No, I talk about the football team. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think it's because I hate Lukaku.
Okay.
And I also don't like De Bruyne. Like, is it De Bruyne? De Bruyne.
I think. Yeah.
He just looks so boring. That's the problem. He looks like, he's a nice guy, but he's just got no personality. You just need some fucking personality. It just looks. Just never showing any emotion on the pitch.
No, he's quite. He's sort of, I think, an ideal Guardiola player in that sense. Very, just business, nothing but business.
And is Hazard back now, or is he still like 20 stone overweight.
If he is, I don't think he's doing much. I haven't heard of him doing much for Madrid in a long. If he's fit at all, but I mean, I think their golden generation in general now is largely past its best, because I think when we're talking kind of golden generation, that included the sort of Vertonghen, Alderweireld. Obviously, Hazard. So there's a few that still, obviously, De Bruyne is still kind of peak age, but a lot of them are now a bit past that. So, but I guess similarly with Croatia, a lot of the players who were kind of leading, like their main players at the last World Cup, are also getting on a bit. So,
yeah, well, Modric obviously still going strong, but I mean, even in the last World Cup, to get Croatia in a semi-final like England did and to lose, I mean, if you get to a World Cup semi-final and you play Croatia, that's you're doing well. But we're
over it.
We couldn't get past
it's
it.
fine.
Who cares? Yeah, didn't want to win.
Listen back to the podcast we did after that if you're interested.
I've mentioned this to you before. The only Rock and Roll English episodes I've ever listened to are the football ones. Okay, so I might be listening to this in a few years.
Probably not the pre-tournament pod.
No, actually, I don't think I've ever listened to a pre-tournament podcast. No, I always try to get it after a win,
rather than the lack of research. Yeah,
exactly. So Group G, we've got Brazil. I've heard they're quite good. They have got the Manchester United player Anthony, who recently did the most pointless skill on a football pitch that I've ever seen in my whole life. Like football United fan thing that I watched said he just went, it was just embarrassing. It was like Nanny on Wiz, which I thought was
good description.
He's
got a very kind of dislikable quality about him, Anthony, as a non-United fan. In fact, I'd say there's 3 at United at the moment that when I watch them, I really think, I do not like you. So can you guess the other 2? Correct.
Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, to be honest, I also don't like him. And
so
I remember
annoying.
saying that to you when he was in his purple patch. Again, go back and listen to our podcast we listened. I've got no idea what number it was, but so Bruno Fernandes.
He's him and Anthony are the main 2, to be fair. And then the third one, who when I've seen him so far, I've found quite annoying, is Lisandro Martinez.
Okay, I like him.
Yeah.
I do actually like South American players. Well, I say South American, particularly players from Argentina. I always find they fight. They play with their heart. Like I think of Gabriel Heinze or whatever his name was, who was another fan's favourite. Tevez, for example, another one.
Tevez, I did quite like. Lisandro Martinez is just too much of a kind of trying to compensate for his height thing going on.
Small man syndrome.
Yeah. There's too much of that vibe, I think, about Lisandro Martinez.
I like him. Yeah. I like Martinez, but Fernand and even Anthony as well. I agree.
Fernandes is the worst. Fernandes is kind of enemy number 1.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And even Anthony, again, he just never looks happy. I think, look, you're playing for Manchester United. You're earning shitloads of money. At least you can smile.
Yeah.
Like, it must be something good about that. if you think it's shit, swap places with me and make podcasts that no one listens to about the World Cup. So just to quickly finish it, so we've got Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. Is Suarez still playing for Uruguay?
Good question.
He played his last game for his club, I saw, in Uruguay recently.
Yeah,
so
he moved back there, didn't he? To
his farewell thing.
Yeah, I imagine he's still knocking around. Cavani as well, he's obviously getting on a bit. It's another team where maybe the best players are getting on a bit. So, but yeah, that's a group, I must admit, Uruguay, Portugal, that would be the sort of game where I'm mainly watching it, hoping for a lot of red cards. Sort of two nations I don't really love. I'll be supporting Ghana and Thomas Partey in that group, I think.
Right. Okay, nice. And so Portugal have got someone called Cristiano Ronaldo as well, who is also getting on a bit. I actually saw that apparently there was a thing in Portugal about like get him out of the team a few months ago. I don't know if that's still the case. I think no manager would ever have the balls to drop him. So he'll be coming back when he's 50. He'll be saying like,
if he wants to.
Did you know Buffon said that he hopes to make the next World Cup?
Did he? The next World Cup?
The next World Cup.
He's not in the squad at all.
No.
Now.
No. But he spoke about the next World Cup where he'll be 46.
Because he moved down to Parma, didn't he, in Serie B?
That's so he's still playing. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still playing, but he's hoping he's hoping to actually get back into the squad between the age of 42 and 46.
That is mental.
I wouldn't rule it out. You know, I guess if he gets back into Serie A and he's on form.
Who knows? But I don't even. Someone told me he's not even playing. I mean, I must admit, I don't really watch the second division in Italy very much. But if you think,
sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say, if you think of Italy, they didn't qualify for this World Cup. They didn't qualify for the last one. So if you've got like an Italian boy that's maybe 15, who's like 15, who loves football, hasn't probably seen Italy in a World Cup. So by the time they qualify for the next World Cup, if they qualify, it'll be 2026. So it'll be 12 years since the last time they even qualified for a World Cup.
Yeah, that's mad. And particularly winning the Euros in between not qualifying for the World Cups is...
I mean, that's a little cushion, I must admit, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't too disappointed when they didn't qualify. But I do kind of hope this happens with Buffon, because actually players like Buffon make me feel less old when I watch football, because there's so many things now and it's like, you know, a player who was born in 2004 or something, or like one of my main ever football icons, his grandson is now a player. Yeah. These sort of things make me feel really old, whereas Buffon actually still playing makes me feel like, nothing's really changed since I was like 17.
So that's a great note. A great note to finish on. So keep going, GG.
Yeah,
okay?
Do it for us.
We're rooting for you, and may the best team win. Okay, hopefully that will be England, but very doubtful. Okay, so thanks, Boom Boom, for your time.
Thank you,
and we'll see you soon. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.